Hey guys, it's Mahoney coming to you with another Tuesday tip. As you can see, I'm at my house. There's my backyard. There's my gifts from my daughter. So I'm on quarantine, as are many people. My fiance was in India and got back a week ago Saturday. So I'm on a 14-day home quarantine. So I'm working from home. If I can, I don't know how I flip my phone. I don't normally use the regular video. So in any case, a lot of stress in the world right now, and a lot of tension. You see it all over social media, and the news is just nonstop about the pandemic that's going on in the world. And there's been some attempts on Facebook that I've seen for people to kind of change the conversation. What else can we talk about? Do lists. Can you find all the movies in this photo? These are all great ideas. I think that they're all wonderful. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to guide many people through a crisis. Whether at the beginning of my career with somebody, charged with a crime, especially like a reckless homicide. Those were some of the more difficult cases. Somebody that made a bad decision, and as a result, now somebody has been killed, and it's just a horrible situation. Through divorces, and now I manage people through lots of tragedies that happen as a result of these wrecks that I take care of people as a result of. So there's a series of things that I developed, and I didn't come up with them. It's all from all the stuff that I've studied through all these years, and as you know, I'm a Tony Robbins disciple, so a lot of it comes out there. But when you're going through a situation like this, there's some things that I think are very helpful in terms of managing through it. First of all, we got to stop calling it a quarantine and a crisis and things like that. All of these changes that are going on in the world are certainly dangerous to us all, and we need to take that all seriously. But when you're talking to yourself, you need to control your state, which means control the feelings that you have at any given time. And no matter who you're talking to, or no matter what you're reading, from going back to Think and Grow Rich to Grant Cardone to Napoleon Hill to any of these guys, Impact Theory, you name it, they all really talk about the same stuff. And where they first start is, how do you manage your state? Well, and number one, whenever I had somebody that was going through a significant personal issue in their life, especially like a divorce, first thing that I would tell them is, you have to manage the communication that is coming to you at any given time. And back then when I was doing divorces, it was pretty much just the people that they were talking to. And so that would be family and friends, and especially family back then. Because you're a divorced person, and all of a sudden, person going through a divorce, your spouse leaves you and your heart is broken. Some time could pass and you could be feeling better about that situation, but then all of a sudden your mother or your sibling your best friend keeps bringing it up and keeps bringing it up and keeps bringing it up, and they're trapped in that story. And they're all, trapped in the specific story, and that's their drama. That's where they're getting their, significance, for lack of a better word. And so you can't make yourself feel better and improve because they keep bringing you back into this story. Well, now we have social media. So now it's not just who you're talking to, or your friends, or your coworkers, or your family members. Now it's everything that you do, everything that you turn on. So the first piece of advice that I would give you is, number one, do not wake up in the morning and grab your phone and look at social media. When we go to bed at night, our brain processes and deletes most of what we took in on any given day. It has to. There's just too much information going on at any given time. And you have to decide what information it is that you want your brain to focus on, as opposed to letting all this other noise, and I'm pointing at all my devices here that I have, all this other noise telling you what you should be focusing on. So when you wake up in the morning, first thing, you decide what it is that you concentrate on first. And in Tony world, we call this our hour of power. And for me, it's actually 2 hours. So I wake up in the morning, and right away I go to a series of things that I'm going to look at to put into my brain where it is that I want to go on that particular day. And I use an app, so I do grab my phone, but I don't look at social media on my phone. I use an app called Trello, and it's an app designed to be like a planner, okay? And you can use anything. I use a portion of Trello, and I'll show you this in upcoming days, that is really set up a lot like the Franklin planner. Okay, Benjamin Franklin came up with a planner a long time ago that then was adopted by Stephen Covey, that's been adopted by Dwight Eisenhower, that's been adopted by all these people. Essentially, what you do is you find your vision of your life, your primary question, your ultimate vision, your ultimate goal, whatever that is. And there's a lot of different books out there to help you do that. Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within is a great one to go look at. Stephen Covey's system does a wonderful job of taking you through a mission statement and a primary question. That was the ones that I did. You know, in my original mission statements, my original Covey planner is right there behind me. I still have it. I used that one for over 20 years. Leather bound with a zipper, and my mission statement back then was multiple paragraphs. It's now down to one sentence that I developed over years and years of changing it. But every morning I start out, and I used to open up that planner right there. Now I open up Trello, and I first look at my vision board, which has got my mission statement, and it's got my roles, and it's got my definition in all of those roles, and it's got my primary question, and it's got a series of other things. And that's the first thing that I read every morning. And I sit there and I think about it. I am this. I am that. I am a parent. I am all of these things, and describe all of those things. Then the next thing that I do is I go to my goals. What are my goals? What are my goals for 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, 20 years? And what are the standards that I live by in order to achieve those goals? And in days to come, I'm going to show you all of these things that I use. So I start my day with what's most important to me. What are the roles that I have? What's the vision that I have for my life? What are the roles that I have with all of those around me? Whether it's spouse, whether it's children, whether it's coworkers, whether it's family. What are the roles that I'm playing? Then I look at all my goals, I look at all my standards, and then I look at all of the definitions for each of those roles and ways that I can achieve them. That was the original design of the Covey planner, was you looked at your roles and your goals, and then you scheduled your day. And every planning system works. They're all great. Figure out what works for you. I picked Trello simply because it was one of the first apps I looked at and I liked it, and you can adapt it in any way you want. Then you can add photos and you can add this and you can add that. They all work fine. It's a matter of whatever you make work for you. Then the second thing that I always recommend to people, one, guard your doors. You have to guard what comes into your head. So I would tell people as they were going through a divorce, block everything out. When social media came out and people were going through a divorce, first thing I tell them is get off all social media. Take a complete break from all social media forever, and be very careful about who you're talking to. Be very close-knit about it. If somebody starts bringing up, what this other person is doing or what's going on, then you can say, look, this isn't benefiting me right now. I'm not going to listen about that. We all have to be mindful of what's going on in the world. You can't ignore it. But if it's all that you obsess on, then you're not going to be able to get through this whole system very, very well. So load your brain up with where you're going and what do you want to do. Then I tell everybody, go for a walk. The statistics on going for a walk in the morning, and the weather's good enough now, kind of no matter where you are. I first discovered this when my grandfather got Alzheimer's, and I was taking him to the neurologist. And that was one of the pieces of advice that they gave, was your grandfather needs to go for a walk first thing in the morning. Well, then I started talking to the neurologist, and your brain functions 3 times, 5 times, 10 times better if you just go for a brisk walk every morning. Now, I run and I do other stuff, but just that walk, it oxygenates the brain and it gets the body moving. As you go for that walk, then you can do incantations and you can do other things. And tomorrow morning, when I get up, I'm going to go Facebook Live, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing each time that I do it. So I'm going to say, here's the program that I'm using, and here's how I'm doing that. And then when I go out in the morning to do the second hour of power outside from 4:30 to 5:30, I review all my stuff, I review all my roles, I review all my goals. I have a little bit of coffee, and then I drink an energy drink, a green drink. It's not an energy drink like a Rockstar. I mean like a greens drink. And then I take in a couple of other things, and then I head out to do my hour of power. As we do the hour of power, I do incantations the whole time. As I go through the entire park, and I'm out for an hour, it's about 4.5 miles. And then when I get home, then I start listening to videos. Then I'll turn on Tony Robbins, or I'll turn on Grant Cardone, or I'll turn on some of the, any of the other motivational speakers that Jim Rohn. I listen to Jim Rohn a lot. Lately, I re-listened to Norman Vincent Peale and his interviews and everything that he learned when he wrote Think and Grow Rich. He actually did a couple of speeches where he talked about the book, and I re-listened to all that and actually reread the book. Then as you're going through all these videos, you can think to yourself, what can I do during this period of time in order to make it more effective? The way that we control our brain is we ask questions. So I'm going to plant that seed so that down the road we can start thinking about what types of questions can you ask. So today is Tuesday. This is my Tuesday tip. How do you survive a crisis? Number one thing is we're going to not call it a crisis anymore. This is an opportunity to stay at home and recharge and reevaluate as to where we're going to go in life. And then the second thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about how do you start your day. So tomorrow morning, when I wake up, I'm going to go on Facebook Live, and we're going to start looking at how do we do that. Thanks for watching, everybody, and hope everybody stays safe and use this as an opportunity to start some new habits.